What is up, Jaguar students? It's your friendly neighborhood math teacher, Mr. Allred, and I would like to welcome you to Unit 3, mini lesson number 3, about solving proportions. Today, by the end of today's lesson, you'll be able to explain to a friend how to solve proportions, okay? And we're going to get started by filling this out in our table of contents. This is entry number 4, and again, this is Unit 3, mini lesson number 3, about solving proportions. Please fill that out in your table of contents. Reread over your SMART goal and your action steps before we get started. Make sure that you do what you said you would do for this unit so that you can learn better. All right. Happy Halloween, by the way. Here we go. This is entry number 4 in the table of contents. Let's get started. Proportional, what does that word mean? Remember the tables and graphs from mini lesson 2. We said a proportion is an equation that says that two ratios are equal. So we're going to have two ratios. Pretty much there's 3 ways to determine if two ratios are proportional, if they're equal. They're proportional if they have the same unit rates. If you had 10 over 4 and 25 over 10, and you simplified both of those so that the denominator was 1, they would both be equal to 2.5. So those are proportional ratios right there. Just based on that definition, those would be proportional ratios. So those will check off. You can also cross multiply, and if you get the same cross products, then that ratio is proportional. So in that same example where you had 10 over 4 and 25 over 10, 10 times 10 is 100 and 4 times 25 is 100. So those ratios are also proportional as well. You can check that one off. Two ratios are also proportional if they simplify to the same fraction. So in that example, 10 over 4 can be simplified to 5 over 2, and 25 over 10 can be simplified to 5 over 2. So those ratios as well, those would be proportional ratios. Okay? To solve proportions, you can use multiple methods. I actually talked to Ms. Day yesterday, and she said that last year you might have solved them this way. You might have found a common scale factor. You can also cross multiply and divide to solve them. So I'm going to solve this guy in 2 different ways. 6 over 10 equals 36 over x. We're trying to find the value of x that would make the ratios proportional. What we're trying to do. We're trying to find the value of x that would make these ratios proportional. That is the goal. So one way you can do that is you can cross multiply. 6 times x is worth 6x, and 10 times 36 is worth 360. So we know that a proportion has cross products that are equal. That's why you can do that. Okay. Then if you want to solve for x, on this left side right here, this says 6 times x. So this right here says 6 times x. We can do the opposite of multiplication there. We can actually do division on both sides of the equation. Divide both sides by 6. And when we divide 360 by 6, we get 60. X is worth 60. That's one way you could solve that proportion for x. If you plug 60 back in, you would see that as a proportional relationship. You can also try to find a common scale factor, either horizontally or vertically, between the two proportions. So when I looked at it, I noticed that 6 actually goes into 36 6 times. 6 times 6 is 36. So I knew that there had to be a equivalent scale factor from the bottom, from left to right. And 10 times 6, again, is 60. So x has to be 60 there for that one. Okay. A lot of you might be more comfortable finding a common scale factor, doing it that way. Just know that there won't always be a common scale factor when you're solving proportions. So Mr. Allred might have to show you a way that you can do it without that here later. Okay. But if you look at number 1, it says 1/2 equals 5 over x. What do you think the common scale factor is between one side and the other? That's right. The top actually goes into the other top 5 times. 1 goes into 5 times. So you know that the bottom on the right has to go into the left 5 times as well. 2 times 5 is 10. X has to equal 10. for that one. Number 2, I want to see what you got for number 2. I love to see. Tell Edpuzzle what you got for number 2. That's right. You can use the common scale factor there. I know that 4 goes into 12 3 times. So D must be 3 times bigger than 3. So D has to be 9. Thank you so much for working through some of those with me. I really appreciate it. I want you to stop where you are and wait until you get to my station. So that probably took most of the time in your station. If you want, you can go ahead and write your summary for this mini lesson. Go ahead and write your summary for it. And I can't wait to see you in my station. We're going to get some really good work done with solving proportions. We're going to talk about all those things we just talked about and really just do some more examples. Okay. Eventually, we'll work our way up to big word problems where we can solve big word problems in some real life scenarios. But before we do that, we've got to do these basic things here. I really appreciate you listening to these notes. Thanks for paying attention. Make it a great day or not. The choice is yours. And remember that of all my students I've ever taught, you are one of them. Thanks and have a great day.